everybody, my name is Kelley Brophy, and today I'm going to be doing an intro to the Drums Alive program that we have at the Taunton Senior Center. And the reason that we're doing this is we thought that it would be a great idea for people who aren't starting on the very first day of a Drums Alive session. So if we do a 6 or an 8 week time, if you come in, if there's an opening on the 3rd week and you wanted to pop in for a class, that you wouldn't come into that class and just have like no idea what to do or anything, and then you would feel you wouldn't have a good time, and you might feel some stress from that. We don't want you to feel funny if you come in and not have any idea. So this is really a great intro to the Drums Alive class for people that come to the Taunton Senior Center that are going to try a drop-in class, or if you're going to sign up for a term, like a 6 or an 8 week term, and you would like to know a little bit more about it before you get here. So I'm going to start by saying that this class is a blast. It is so much fun. There is no pressure on anybody to perform in any way. You don't have to stay standing or seated. You can kind of alternate between seated or standing, or stay in one position if that works best for you. So it really is a class for everybody and everybody. We have several people that come to the class that stay seated the whole time, and we have several people that come to the class that stay standing the whole time, unless we're doing something specific that we want to sit. And then we have several people that come to the class that kind of alternate between doing their workout and their fun drumming, seated or standing or moving back and forth. So it's really for everybody. So I want to really encourage you to at least try it. Drums Alive was invented, so to speak, by Carrie Eakins, and through a medical hardship that she experienced after being a physical fitness expert for her profession, she wanted to come up with a program that she could use to keep herself in good shape while she was recovering. And that's how Drums Alive was born. And it really is amazing because it's grown over the years to a program that is now in school systems with Drumtastic, where they're using the Drumtastic program for as actual curriculum in schools. They have a senior program, which is pretty much what we're going to be doing here. They have a regular fitness program, and then they have a high intensity program. But all of those programs really touch base on, yes, learning rhythms, yes, enjoying the music, yes, fitness, but also our brains and challenging our brains to learn new things and build new pathways, keep our existing pathways open, work with our brain on the hand-to-eye coordination, feeling the relaxation that comes from drumming. That's a fact, that drumming actually will inspire a very grounded feeling in people. We can use drumming to lift us up. We can use drumming to relax ourselves. So it really has grown into a program that is a full body and brain experience that goes all the way up into like high level fitness, and all the way down to our most relaxing times of our day can be right here with Drums Alive. So it's a full boat program. And so that being said, I want to really encourage people to try this class because you will love it. We are very casual in the class. We welcome everybody. We're silly. People are talking and laughing, and we just have a great time. And I want to welcome anybody that wants to try this class to come and join this class. It's got a wonderful design behind it by the creators. And, I'm doing the very best that I can to honor their wishes for this program by bringing all of the aspects of drumming and fitness to you, and how they would like us to do that. And I absolutely love it. So that being said, I'm going to take you from ground level, like you've never seen this setup or anything before. So if you're coming and watching this video from like the outside world, you might be pretty bored with this, because this particular video is really designed for the members of the Taunton Senior Center who are thinking about doing like a drop-in class, or maybe thinking about signing up, but they've never done it before. So it's really from the ground level. So, but I still think that we're gonna have a great time. So if you are at home and you wanna try to do some of this with me, and of course you probably don't have drumsticks at home, but you could try using maybe unsharpened pencils or wooden spoons. You could try wooden spoons from your kitchen. And if not, you can just listen, sit back and listen, and use your hands on your, even on your lap or your knees. Drumming is pretty contagious, and you know, once you start feeling what percussion can do for you, you might find yourself tapping on almost everything. We have a client that comes to the class, and her husband is a professional drummer, and she's coming to the class because she wants to be able to tap along with him, because even when they're in church, he's tapping on something. So she's hoping that maybe it's something that they can share together. So everybody's got their own story, but it's a ton of fun, and I highly encourage you to try it. So I'm gonna start with you by showing you the drumsticks. These are fancier sticks than what you need. However, I do like the color, so I'm using these because you can see them a lot better. What you'll probably be using in school, in our classes, would be wooden drumsticks, or maybe plastic drumsticks that have a rubber bottom for somebody that might need a little bit more traction underneath their hands. And also I have some very light equipment that can slip onto the bottom for people that have a hard time holding something small, like if you've got arthritis in your hands, or sore wrists or anything like that. We have bigger handles that you can hold onto your sticks with. So don't let your, if you've got uncomfortable hands, don't let that prevent you from trying a class. We will work with you in any way that we can. So I'm gonna just show you the drumsticks, and these are the tips of the drumsticks. And when we are going to strike our ball or our drum, I do like to call it our drum, we're going to use the middle of the drumstick and not the tips. And there's several reasons for that, but one is so that we don't accidentally, break the smaller tip off and have a piece of the wood go flying. It's a little bit stronger in the middle. And also another reason is so that we're not doing our wrists uncomfortably, that we have a good powerful hold on it, and we're striking our stick in the middle of where the strongest part is, and where the most surface of the drumstick will be. So we're going to hold our drumsticks so that we're going to strike them on the center. I'd also, if you do have something in your hands, if you were able to go get a couple of spoons or something to use, we would normally start a beginner off by having us travel up and down your drumsticks with your fingers. So just to familiarize yourself with the feel of your drumstick and the weight of it, and basically just to get comfortable with it. And then let's stop in the middle, and I'm gonna have you go down on one and go up on the other. Great, and then we're gonna change that. So you're going up on one and down on the other. Great, do that a few times just to get comfortable with it. And then let's take that stick in a very loose hand, and we're going to just throw the stick up in the air and let our hand stay with it and kind of feel that. Just so we can get more comfortable with it. That's really what this is about. And I'm going to switch to my left hand now, which probably looks like my right to you, but my left hand is nowhere near as good as my right hand. But you know what? Dropping our sticks is part of our fun. So, and if I drop my stick, I don't mind. I just am used to it. And I'm used to you guys doing it too. So that's really part of the fun. A lot of times when somebody drops their sticks, we'll break out and cheer for that person, because it just, it's just fun, and we all know that it's fun. So nobody's embarrassed by doing that. So you can try opening your hand up, great. And then if you're comfortable with that, let's take your stick and do like a half turn with the stick and see if you can catch it again. This is when most of us will drop our sticks, but that's okay, don't forget that. It's really just to get comfortable. I'm gonna do it with my other hand as well. Great, and just kind of flip that stick around and see how you feel. Feel pretty good, right? So I'm glad that feels good for you. So I'm going to start our session today seated, and then that way we can really focus on not so much our feet moving around, but more on what our upper body's going to be doing. And then towards the end, I will show you some things that we would pay attention to while we are standing too. So that being said, I'm going to hold my sticks in my hands gently. I'm going to try to not squeeze. Squeezing our hands around something or even making fists does a couple of things that aren't so great for us. One of them is that we have that tension on our wrists and our joints if we're squeezing something. We really don't need that when we're drumming. So I'm going to have you just be sure that you're loosening that grip a little bit. So we're not squeezing, but also squeezing can change our blood pressure. We don't really think about that when we're squeezing, when we're holding tight to a weight or something. So I want to make sure that you know that squeezing is just not a great thing. We really don't need to do it. So I'm going to have you loosen on your sticks a little bit. And for our gentler drumming, we're going to use our wrists for this when we are striking our drum. So this is really like just a nice flick. My thumb is on top of my stick, and my wrists is what is causing my stick to hit the drum. So my hand is loose. It's loose enough that it's tight enough that I'm not going to let my stick go flying, but I'm not gripping my stick at all. I'm just nice and loose. And then if we get into more power drumming, then I'm going to have you take that thumb and bring it across. And you're going to drum from the elbow in that case. And in this situation, you are going to need to tighten your hold on your stick up just a little bit more, but still not a really hard grip. So our power drumming is going to be done from the elbow forward, and our normal drumming is going to be done from our wrist. So practice that a little bit. So another thing I just want to bring up right now is that you probably noticed that Drums Alive is also very conscious of our well-being while we are in this class. And that is why we do have a shift of how we hold on to our drumsticks, so that nobody is doing harder drumming with your thumb as resistance on the top of that stick, because that over time that could really injure or at least give you a little bit of discomfort in the muscle that controls your thumb, and we don't want that to happen. So we're going to be very cautious of how you guys are enjoying this. So that being said, now we know how to hold our sticks. We know where to strike our ball with our sticks. And when we are drumming, we want to, this drum right now, for me being seated, is a little bit high for me. And that's okay for this demonstration, but our favorite place for somebody to be when they are drumming would be for their arm to be able to strike the drum almost at their hip. So you're very comfortable doing your drumming from here. This is a little bit high for me, but I'm going to try to be very careful about how I show you how to use the sticks and the drums together. All right, so we're ready to learn a couple of the basics about the Drums Alive experience. So each class is going to have a warm-up for you. So we're going to warm up our joints and fire all of our muscles. And whether you're seated or not, we will use our legs. We're going to use our torso. We're going to get our arms moving. So every class will have a warm-up. And every class is also we're going to experience different postures and usage of our sticks meeting the drum. So one of the things that we will be doing will be what is called single beats. And single beats is literally single beats. I am doing this with a flick of my wrist, and single beats is just one stick at a time. So these are singles. When we are using two sticks at the same time, that would be considered doubles. Very good. See how easy it is? So let's go from singles to doubles. nice. And I'm using this with a flick of my wrist. Excellent. And I'm going to scooch this ball out just a little bit because now I can show you, using singles and or doubles, I can show you the different positions on the ball that we can drum with. So one of the positions is the top of our own ball. So this would be the top of our ball and doing it doubles. Now let's go singles on the top of our ball. Great. And now let's do our side beats. So side beats would be on the side of our ball. Let's do doubles on the side. Great. You can feel some other muscles getting triggered on the side. And now let's do singles on the side. Great. And now we can also go to our base. This is the most fun. This is when we're really getting wild. Let's do doubles on our base. And now singles on our base. Sounds great, doesn't it? That's the most fun, I'm sure you can tell. Very nice. And so we've done the basic around the top and the sides of the ball and the base. Now I'm going to show you some that work around the ball. So this would be around the world, and I'm going to show this to you in using doubles. So 2 sticks. Around the world would be 1 strike close, 1 to the side, 1 to the front of our ball, 1 to the opposite side, and then back to the back of the ball, which would be the close side of your ball. And when we do that, when we just went around, to me it's clockwise. It might be counterclockwise from your view. But when we do that, we should follow through with an opposing direction so that we are developing skills and abilities and muscles and opening pathways in all directions. So what we're doing to one side, we're going to try to do to the other side too, so we can train both sides. So this is called around the world. So we would do a tap, 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 and then we're home again, and we can go the other way. Very good. And then we also have front to back. And front to back, we would reach to the front of our drum and tap, and then the back of our drum and tap, and front to back, front to back. Very good. After we have done that, we can also do certain number of taps on one side. A very common number that you're going to see us using will be the number 8. 7, 8, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we could do 4 and 4. And then we might want to do 4 going back and forth. So when we do back and forth work, just be aware of the center of your body, that your core is engaged, because that would be like a lateral, that could lead you to lateral movements, and we want to keep you nice and safe and steady in your chair. Speaking of our chair, we also can ground our feet really well onto the floor and feel our feet holding us left to right. We can be very balanced and stable in our chair. When we have our feet balanced left to right, and we have both of our sits bones on our chair, and we have engaged our core, we're really powerful here. We're not feeling like we could tip over in the chair. I want you to have that feeling especially if you're seated, and you're going to be seated the whole class. I want the seated people to feel very safe coming to the class. If this is something that's comfortable for you, this is also an option. If you're a seated client, which we so welcome, you can still do so much exercise with your legs. So if we're standing and marching, please feel free to go right ahead and march with us. Whatever you can do safely and comfortably, we really want you to do. Alrighty, so that being said about staying engaged and secure in our seat, I'm going to show you a couple of ways that we can use these other balls on our side. So these are called our neighbor's ball, our neighbor ball. And when we are in a class where we have a row of balls or even a circle sometimes, occasionally we will have a person sitting next to us and then another person and another person, but sometimes there's a spare ball in between each one. Whether there's a spare ball or a person sitting there, we can still use that ball, which makes this so much more fun too, doesn't it? It gives us more opportunities for that fun to happen. So if there is a person sitting at your neighbor ball, so this is my neighbor ball, my right, but I'm going to call it left because I believe that you're seeing me mirrored, so that would be left neighbor ball. If there's a person sitting there, you just want to be very careful that we are here striking the side of their ball, that we're going to strike the side of our neighbor ball and not the top if there's a person sitting in that place. If there is not a person and that is an empty seat or an empty ball, you are able to strike the top of that ball. So I just want to make you very aware of that, so that if you come to a class and we're sitting side by side, that I want you to feel pretty safe that everybody knows that we're going to be tapping the side of the ball if there's a person sitting right there. So these side balls add so much fun to the experience, and I'm sure you can imagine that. So one of the things that we can do, seated or not, is we can turn our upper body and we can reach over and tap that ball. So I'm going to take my leg from that side and put it out a little bit, whether I'm standing or not. We're going to put that leg out and reach over and tap that ball. Great. And then tap our own ball, and let's move that foot and now tap that ball. So I'm sitting nice and solid and straight, and I can get to all of these balls, which just makes it so much more fun for the experience, right? So we can go from one ball to the other. I can also split my sticks and work on the outside balls and the neighbor balls anytime the music and the instructor has me want to do that, right? So it adds so much more to our experience to use these balls. The more you come and the more you see how the class evolves, you'll feel so much more comfortable using all three balls, and we'll get into many more things with other balls that are set up, that will be set up in the room. And I don't want to get too confusing today or add too much into this particular intro because I don't want to discourage anybody from coming, but there's a lot more that we're able to do with the balls when the class is ready for that. So I hope that you feel comfortable knowing that we are all welcoming new people to the class, and that there's nothing that you'll be asked to do that you're not really comfortable with. Alrighty, so I'm going to put on a song. I'm going to put on a song that everybody, I think, in the whole world knows. It's called The Chicken Dance. I'm sure you guys know that. And what I want you to think about when we're doing the song is just the number 4, because we're going to strike the drum 4 times, and then we're going to have a change and strike the drum 4 times again. But no matter what we do, it's going to be the count of 4. So there's just a little hint to what the methodology is going to be for this particular song, okay? So I'm going to reach down and start the song. I hope you can hear it. And here we go. So let's do 4. Ready? One, two, three, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Now just take a little break, and we're going to do double taps all the way around. And remember, I said to change direction when the instructor does. And here we go again. Now I'm going to change a little bit. We're going to do 2 taps there, 2. really be a great workout for your core. Right, I'm gently twisting my spine. Everything is nice and strong. But what if I didn't want to do that? How about this? Right there. Here we go again. 4. Ready? Great job, everybody. I hope you were able to grab your spoons and try that with me. Back up the video if you want to do it again anytime and use your spoons or your hands or whatever, and you'll really enjoy feeling that rhythm. So a few other moves that I would like to show you just so that you would recognize them in the class, and please don't feel like you have to have any expertise in them at all. I just want you to be able to see them so that you're not taken back by it. So one of them is called extended reach. In extended reach, we're going to do a tap and lift and lift, tap and lift. This one feels so good and it's so fun, and we use this like to accentuate some really exciting music. This is really fun. And another one would be a cross beat, so we can cross our sticks and bring them back. So cross and bring them back, cross and bring them back. That's a very easy and simple step, but when we cross those arms, things change for us. So it's a nice challenge as well. So we're going to cross and return, cross and return. Very good. And then another one that's always a great challenge for everybody and so much fun is we start with a stick in the middle. So this is also a crossover. It's just a little bit different. Let's start by doing this just one little step at a time. Good. Nice and easy. Great, and now let's switch our center hand. That's going to be in the center of our ball. Good. Very good. So that is also that's also a crossover move. And it's so funny because we can think we're doing great and we cross that center line and all of a sudden it's a challenge. But that's what makes it so much fun, and that's what helps us improve our skills, and it also is what helps build pathways. Now, to talk about some moves that we can do with our side ball, I'm going to actually pull them in a little bit closer, because if you are a seated client, I don't want you to have to reach to a point that you aren't feeling secure in your chair. So we do the same thing in the class. We make sure that anybody that's seated doesn't have to lean to get to their neighbor ball or their side ball. So we could do the same. We could play the same song, the chicken dance, which is still so much fun to me, and still be thinking about that 4 beat and include the outside ball on both sides. So I'm going to play the song over again and let you join me if you would like to. And don't forget, you can use, if you're sitting in a couch, say, you could use your coffee table gently, or you could use the cushions left and right of you, or even just use your own knees and your hands. It's really okay. Drumming is percussion, and percussion happens like everywhere. It can happen with the tap of your foot. It can happen as we slap our knee. It happens when we clap our hands. Like, there's so many things about percussion that we might not even think about. So let me just move along and put this song on for us. And this time I'm going to include our side ball. Think 4s though, okay? Here we go. Let's go back and forth, nice and slow. You don't have to hurry. The music is a lot slower here. We're just crossing and opening. Get ready. Listen up. Stick with that 4. goes nicely, right? Because we're just kind of whooshing down. And here we go, think fours. Double, double. We're turning from left to right, making sure the sticks stay away from our face. Good job, you guys. That click I did was so wrong. That needs to go over my head. So I made a great mistake for you to learn from. Our overhead clicks have to go over our head and away from our faces, and I just did one of these right in front of my eyes. That is not the right way, so go all the way up. Alrighty, so I think that we've covered the bases on if you show up for a class and you're a seated client, what can you do? Would you fit in? Would you be able to do this? So go over the video. Now you know how to hold your sticks, how to sit in your seat nice and safe. You'll know the basics of what a single beat is as opposed to a double beat. You know what the top ball, the side ball, the base is. You know what the neighbor ball is. You know where to use the neighbor ball if you have an actual neighbor sitting there. We know about foot placement to make us more comfortable and safe in our chair. We know to engage our core. So you're able to come in and really have a blast with us and not feel like you're going to be walking into a class and not know what anybody's doing. You will know because we have this little video. So this is, this should hopefully encourage anybody that wants to try the class to try it.